Hello, welcome to this Hogwarts Legacy review by Frosty510. Now, I completed the game on hard difficulty, which it was a challenge until I realized you could stack defensive equipment. So I'll show you my gear. Significantly decreased damage taken from goblins, and some significantly decreased damage taken from dark wizards. Once you start stacking this, it becomes a lot easier. Because again, your damage is still pretty good because you've got good equipment and it's upgraded and you've got all your beasts and all that sort of stuff. And you've got plenty of health because again, you're, 30 plus or whatever. But just having the decrease in damage means that on hard mode, you don't get obliterated. Because on hard mode, you can lose your health in like 2 shots. And you go down to like 1 health. And then that's when you quickly tap a heal. So it's not terribly cruel. It isn't an unfair game or anything like that. And I'll just look over there. Look at all my cats. So buy the game. I mean, I recommend the game. Strongly recommend the game. I'll give it, 8 or a 9 out of 10. I'll go probably an 8. Now, why am I not giving it a 10? Why am I not giving it a 9? Okay, so this is gonna be a spoiler. I'm gonna have to have a preface here. Okay. Let's. I'll mark the point when I have spoilers or not. So, without spoilers, it's a wonderful, fantastic, magical journey. Absolutely fabulous. The room of requirement and the brewing your potions and growing your plants, that's pretty basic. Honestly, it's pretty basic. But it's still really good. I'm really happy to have it in the game. And the same with... I mean, the beasts are great. The beasts are one of my favourite part of the game, really, is that you can have... I'll show you the cats. You can have your own menagerie of beasts, and you can have so many different kinds, so many big ones and little ones, and look at all these cats. And that you can, brush them and feed them, and... Honestly, I think if you don't like the beasts part of the game, it does change your opinion of the game. I think that's a fundamental... If you like them and you think they're cute, then again, it goes up. So, on the back of the beasts, I do strongly recommend, you get the game. If you really like them. Maybe this is you could say it was a gender thing, maybe. But, of the streamers I've seen play, I think I prefer, watching the female ones, maybe. Because they do enjoy the beasts a bit more. Not all the same, but, generally. And I think it's really good. I think it's like this little one here, the baby one. Now, the baby ones don't grow up. So that's kind of something I was a bit like, oh. So maybe that's something they'll add in a patch. You can choose to let them grow up or something. This is a super rare one. But if you don't like the beast and beast management parts of the game in the room of requirement, your special hub zone, I don't think you'll enjoy the game as much. Just simply, and again, it affects your ability to upgrade your equipment because you do need the beasts. They do serve a purpose in terms of harvesting the material by just being nice to them. And then you can upgrade your equipment and get better traits and things. I mean, more consistently apply the traits, the higher quality ones to your armor because you have the supply of beast materials that you need. You do need a bit of money in the game to be able to, buy your potion things and your plant stuff. But again, you can actually have multiple of each, so it's not really that big an issue, but you can make it seem like it is. Okay, I'll go to the room of crime and explain. But as for the quests, I think they're all really good. I like the characters. All the main characters I think are good. None of them are... I suppose there's only one that everyone's going to talk about. But, So you can, make your potions and they all have like a little timer thing. But it's not something... It doesn't progress when you're not playing the game. So it's not that kind of... It's not a mobile game. It's just... I don't really know why they designed it in that way, but... It's fine. It doesn't bother me. The plants, again, I have so many I don't need to collect anymore. I'm well and truly topped up. And then we've got the cabbages and the manticore, and I just don't use them as much as I could when I have so many. And you got the fertilizer so you can boost the time. And the moonstone, again, it's not a big deal. You got plenty of that. Upgrades with the loom. I'd say, if anything, the upgrading of the equipment should be accessed earlier in the game. I feel like a lot of the game, it does sort of step by step give you the bits and pieces that you need, but perhaps it would be better if more of it was available earlier on. So if there's a new game plus, or when they introduce that, maybe have it all, just have it all open. Maybe that would change the way you play the game. It's a good thing though. It's nice to have these reveals of new features, but I feel like the upgrading the equipment is just way too late, because it's such a vital part of the game, and the part where you really customize what kind of character what kind of playstyle you're doing is through the gear. But yeah, we got the Graphon. Baby Thestral. Got all the hippogriffs. Whoa, unicorn, what are you doing? So again, I'm just showing off my beasts, because they're just, I think, the feature of the game. Now, if you don't care about them, and you didn't collect a couple extra hippogriffs, because you wanted them, different sort of game for you, I suppose. Alright. I don't want to get distracted. Try and make this short. So yes, I'm sort of spoiling things. I'm sort of not spoiling things. I'm not spoiling the story, but I'm spoiling some of the features you get, because maybe you stopped playing because you didn't think you'd get more good stuff, and then there's much more good stuff. Let's go out into the world real quick, and then we'll finish. Okay, now this will just be a spoiler-free review, then I'll discuss the actual bit later. Let's go out into the world. Here's fine. So the open world and the various side quests in it, I think they're all good. Some of them are quite, impactful, and some of them less so. But it's fine. I think that's fair enough. They hold their appropriate weight for the most part. It's really your quests with your friends that are the main feature, and then your main quests. So let's... Yes, you can ride a hippogriff. So I'm trying to show you all the good stuff. And you got your broom. But it's a magical game. And if you're still here, I do highly recommend, if you are a fan of the series, again, this is the most important part, is that if you're not a fan of Harry Potter, I don't recommend the game to you, because it's, Hogwarts. It's the Harry Potter Wizarding World. And if you read the books and love the books, and you are the character as you read the book. So there's less of a distinction between yourself and Harry, and more of it's just you going through this adventure. Then I think this game suits you, and you'll enjoy it tremendously. Some of the... I'll save that. Okay, so yeah, I highly recommend the game. Absolutely tremendous. The detail and the, secrets and things, fabulous. The classroom elements, they don't overdo it, because they don't, they want people to feel like they're actually at school, The negatives of attending school, they wanted to avoid those as much as possible and focus on just the group of friends, and, you progressing quite quickly, and you have like little montages of class activities and things, and then just learning spells. So could there have been more depth in spells? Yes, I think there could have been, but I think the way they balanced it with the combat to not overawe the player is really important. Again, you don't want to make it too hard, but at the same time, I feel like certain parts of the game they could have made a lot harder, and some are quite difficult because I'm playing on the hardest difficulty, but at the same time, You know, I never felt like it was impossible or anything like that. So there's not that sense of accomplishment when you do win sometimes that maybe there could have been. But that's okay. You know, I feel like my overriding feeling having finished the game is like, bring on year 6, because we're in year 5. I'm like, well, let's do year 6 next. But at the same time, I do think that we need to... I would have loved a choice at the start about the background of your character that you create, because I don't know anything about their life outside of the wizarding world. So it's kind of, where do we go back to in between year 5 and year 6? And I'm kind of curious about your main character's background. Who are their parents? Are their parents muggles? Are they wizards? You know, they leave it up in the air, which is great. But at the same time, I would have loved a choice to put in that detail. Or are they going to use that for the next part? Hogsmeade is very nice. And all the surrounding towns, some of them are quite beautiful. The world itself is beautiful, which is, you know, so important. The music is fantastic. Music, I rave about the music. Music is sensational. One of the big parts of immersion and feeling like you're there is the music. And without the music, it changes the experience quite drastically. Only one area gives you copyright, which is in Hogsmeade in the Three Broomsticks between autumn and winter. It can be autumn or winter. A random song plays in the Three Broomsticks that can give you copyright claim, so be aware of that. No Quidditch. Quidditch is an incredibly complicated game to create, so I don't have any grievances over that, and nor do I worry about that in the slightest, really, because it's such a tricky game to put together. Makes me feel like the stadium should be 3 times larger to be able to do it, because you just don't have the room, and the way that controlling a broom is like flying a jet, so similar. It's not entirely the same, but it has similar values and challenges. And then having multiple people fly around each other, and the intricacies of the bludgers moving around between the players and tracking onto the players. Maybe you could track onto them okay, but the movement between them, whether or not you feel unfair if it constantly tracks onto you. And then, say, doing that in a multiplayer environment, the challenge is exceptionally high. So again, I'm not worried about that. I've heard a lot of talk about it could have been a MMO and all that sort of stuff. That's totally understandable. Again, I feel like it would be a different game. So you could use the space, and then again, you'll have multiplayer mods and things. But I don't know, combat, I feel like with multiple players who have, you know, their arsenal of spells, may be too easy if you have multiple people. Or just battling each other, I'm not sure it would work, because again, you only have one variant of shield. If you had the multiple variants of shield that need to be broken with the different kind of spells, the different colored shields, then yeah, maybe. That'd make like a rock, paper, scissors type situation. Which again, I don't think ultimately will this be the best way to represent wizarding world in terms of combat and the mechanics of the magic itself. I don't think so. I feel like there's a better version, and it's going to be much more depth into it and much more complexity, but at the same time more rewarding and less of a, you know, maybe game for children. But at the same time, it is, you know, challenging at harder difficulties than that. But magic itself is such a challenging concept to put into games in a way that's easy to handle in terms of game design, game development, or in any way straightforward. Again, you've got to limit it all the time. So yeah, Hogwarts Legacy. I'm gonna just be spoiler-free review, 8 out of 10. I'll qualify that with a spoiler-full review, but sensational. Very, very, very worthwhile playing. And you know, there's some absolutely magical moments that just made me go, oh my goodness. Because I love the Harry Potter series, so yeah. Alright, that'll do. That's been Frosty510. I'll catch you next time. Let me just... Alright.